Hey everybody, it's Uncle Grumpy. I'm gonna give a few of you a minute to join in. It's good to see you guys today, or it will be when you join in. I am on my way to the Capitol, as I've been every day this week. That's kind of partly what this video is about. Hey John, it's also about John Kumas, okay? And I know nobody else really has joined in, they're just starting to join in, but it's also about you, John. I intend to bring your name up, and I hope that's okay. John's a good example of a great guy who does as much as he can to help as many people as he can, and gets slapped around in this community. And a post that I saw where he was called names is partly what set me off on this. Let's keep in mind, at the end of the day, John, who again is a great guy who helps people, who go out of his own pocket, helps people. I know this for a fact. At the end of the day, he has a business to run. And so do the rest of the people in this industry. It is more than just our dealer. They also have families. They also have a business to run. So, what's that got to do with this video? Well, we have over 100 bills, as everybody knows, going through the Capitol right now. And I don't know how many of them are going to get out of committee. Too many, I believe. But they're throwing everything they can at the wall and just hoping to see something stick, because the reality is we have half of the state calling and saying they're sick of seeing this, a good share of the state that is apathetic about the whole thing, and some people, the industry, who just want more and no rules, or some are starting to realize we need rules, more rules, other rules, different rules. So, we're in a position right now where, in my opinion, for the first time since the program was started, there will be changes that, in my opinion, will reshape this industry. That is their goal at this point, is to find some way to reshape it, because, again, over 9,000 growers, patients who want to go buy it in the store, we're fine with that. We think that's great, because we're going to get at that very bottom dollar. Hey, I get it. That's what we need. I grow my own, but I understand when you go to the dispensary and you want to buy it, you don't want to pay any more than you have to. But, some of the growers want things like caps, a freeze on licensing, other things. I disagree with that, but I love having the conversation. And what I saw was John give his opinion on that, where he explained it, that he thought there should be a moratorium. And I understand that perspective. I disagree with it, but I don't have an answer. So maybe that is what has to happen. What I mostly know that I feel is relevant is how we got here. When we wrote the Unity bill, we took all this into consideration, and we wanted to put in caps. Not caps, I'm sorry. We wanted to put in canopy limits, okay? The area we were hoping to end up at was 20,000. 20,000 square foot per license. That might have helped. I don't know if that would have cured everything, because if there's an unlimited number of licensing, then perhaps somebody with enough money just gets enough licensing. So, there's always going to be a way around whatever you're trying to do for people with enough money. But we were trying to think of something that would help. And canopy limits seemed reasonable. So that's, I don't like the caps idea. I prefer limiting the size of the business at this point And there's a way to do that now too. There's one bill that has tiered licensing, and I haven't researched it all. Lawrence, as you guys know, does most of the reading for us. I'm dyslexic, and we meet and talk about it, so I don't have all the details in front of me on that one right now. But tiered licensing sounds like a reasonable thing. What do you guys think about that? Because there's a bill out there to do that. And if all you guys in the industry think that might be a good solution, maybe the industry maybe this community can get behind something and support it, instead of always just being the negative and saying no and throwing stones, And again, the reason why I got upset and the reason why I'm sitting here doing this video is because Stephen Ross started calling John names and saying anybody who had an opinion that any kind of caps, if that was their opinion, he was calling them names. And I'm not going to repeat what those names were. It doesn't matter right now. But that was his reaction, and that's just wrong. We can't do that. It was on a post asking the question, and John was just responding to more than one person saying, well, what would you do different? And he tried to explain what he thinks might work. Again, we all have a difference of opinion on that. But Stephen going off on John because of that, that's us eating our young, you know it? And so if you can't have an adult conversation about it without calling each other names, then don't get in the conversation. Especially right now, because again, there is going to be some big changes this year. I don't know what they are. I don't have a secret to answer to all of this. I have some suspicions, and when things come out of committee, then I'll start worrying about particular bills, and I'll point out to you guys which bills it is that I'm worried about if you want to join in on being worried about those bills. But come on, I saw Stephen scaring people, meaning I saw people commenting on his post. One lady who was afraid she was going to lose her medicine. Well, what gives her that idea? Giving misinformation about bills and the industry as a whole, and summing it all up as, if you want caps, you're the enemy. We have to have these conversations. I'm headed up to the Capitol right now, as I said. I'm going to sit through a committee meeting, I think it is, that is talking about cannabis use and opioid use and trying to address those. Because, one of the things we've always been fighting about was getting people access that need it, like pain management patients who get denied, who are told by their doctors you can't get in the program, or if you test dirty, I won't write your other medications, or anything like that. Those are the people we've been trying to help. So I'm going to go sit through this meeting, and it's going to have some representatives in it that maybe have this opinion that we need to put the toothpaste back in the tube. But if I go in there with the attitude that I see people like Stephen taking when they disagree with somebody, they're not going to listen to a word I say. But if I go in there and I'm polite and I listen to them and I try and understand their perspective, they're going to do the same to me. Now, I've gotten more done at this Capitol with a handshake and a pleasant conversation than anything else. I don't have any money. You guys know that. No one's backing me with big bucks. I'm not handing out large campaign contributions. And another friend on here, because you guys are my friends, okay? I love all of you, including Stephen Ross. But another friend on here wants to blame all the lobbyists. They're just guys doing jobs. Now, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it to take care of a few people. I'm doing it for very personal reasons. So the bills I work on, the things I do are usually very personal. But most of these people up here are trying to feed their families, and they understand the process. And what I mean by the process is, for 3 years I've been trying to get you guys to listen to me when I try and explain how this works up here. I say it like this: There's a manual, and once you read the manual, you can get anything done. And it doesn't take money to read the manual. But instead, we got people sitting on the outside throwing stones. I can't take it anymore. Sorry, I'm frustrated. This is really irritating me. I'm running out of patience with people who don't want to have reasonable conversations. If I treated the people in here the way we treat each other on here, they'd never listen to a word I say. It's not the lobbyists' fault. They do a job. If you want to pick out particular lobbyists who might represent companies that you find reprehensible and you want to address that, I'm happy to have that conversation. But let's stop generalizing, people. Let's stop generalizing like that. Because there's a lot of people up here trying to do good things. They may not win. We don't win much. But there is. There's another guy up here working with, I'm not going to mention him right now. I don't want any targets on anybody. There's another guy up here helping me work on what I'm working on for his own personal reasons, similar to mine. And, you know, he gets that. He's in here shaking hands and having conversations and listening to people. And every time we meet back up, I hear about the conflict in the conversation and then the resolution. And so he's a lobbyist, yet he's here working for himself. Okay? So he's a citizen, just like you. Only we read the manual, meaning we sat down with somebody and we got to know enough people who explained to us how this building works. Not everything, but enough for us to be able to maneuver the system. We can't always win, but by God, I tell you guys what, if you would have stuck behind us after we mistakenly showed everybody 806, okay, we didn't write it, we showed it to the community. Had we could have remained united at that time, we could have wrote the rules ourselves that year. But instead, everything just went to pieces. So, have nefarious people or businesses stepped in? Well, I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have. But they've been here since day one, and that's something else that people aren't understanding. The largest cannabis companies in the world have been here since day one. I was just reading another article before I pulled out this morning about a company opening their 6th or 8th store or something like that originated in Colorado. You know, now they're compliant. It even talks about it in the story. They're compliant. They're following all the rules. The ownership is how it's supposed to legally be. But still, you know, they're going to take, that's like franchising. They're going to take over the market before you guys even realize that they're here. So are some of them in here running bills to try and put caps and other things like that? Yeah, I'm sure they are. They were last year too. And, you know, the lawyer that everybody watches on Facebook and thinks is here to save their life, well, he helped write that bill. Because some people think caps are reasonable. It's not something to attack them over. It's something to work with them to change their mind. Or your mind. You never know. They may make sense. I don't know that caps will ever make sense to me or you. But it may be something besides that particular subject. The point is, we have to be open, and the approach we've taken for the last 2 years, since that particular person started leading this community, is to burn everything down, destroy every relationship up here we ever built, yell at everybody, make posts commenting about how we're going to vote them out when we don't have 3 people in this community who happen to live in that far western district or far southeastern district or wherever it may be. And it's that guy's neighbors that put him in office, not us. He gets to be here just like we do, just like our representatives do. Yes, you're right, Frank. If we don't come together as one, we definitely fall. But what I'm saying is that happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we fell apart. And so this is the result. They've got enough momentum because we have lost enough of the moral high ground to make it even difficult to have a seat at the table in making the decisions. Because we as a community have failed big time. And so I love every one of you, even those of you that hate me. Even some of you I see on here I know don't like me. And I'm here to help you. Come up here to the Capitol if you can. Look, and I understand not being able to get here. I get that. I'm not trying to shame anybody for not being down here. Not even in the least. My issue is our division, not who is here or where. But if you can get down here and you want to read the manual as I put it, I'll say this again. I don't care whether you love me or hate me. Dakota Hopkins, a good friend, you guys know him, a great example. We were going at each other. Boy, I was mad, and I met him up here to explain it to him. And he sat there for 30 minutes at least while I yelled at him for the first 30 minutes because I was pissed. And he had called me some names online. And once we got past that, we walked around this Capitol. We shook hands with people. We talked to people. We talked about the process. And he left here with a better understanding of what goes on in this building. So if any of you guys want to do that, come down here and just let me know you're going to be here. I'll make sure you meet your representative, your senator. Bring me or message me ahead of time and tell me what bills you're concerned about so I can be a little bit caught up to speed. And I'll do everything I can to help you. And I tell you what, when Norma did that to me, it changed my life. When Norma Sapp did that to me, that's what put me here. That's why I'm still here. Because Norma Sapp walked me through this building and explained to me how to work the system. So that's it. I'm going to go inside and sit through this meeting, which starts in about 6 minutes. So I got to go or I'm going to be late. I love all of you. I wish I could get 24 of you or 25 of you to watch without having to get mad and go off. And I'll tell you what, if you will come back and watch more, we will talk about how to move forward. We will work together to move forward. That's it, folks. Until next time, stay grumpy. And remember, grumpy, government refusal united many people to say yes. Government refusal united many people to say yes. We are only here because we all got grumpy together. Stay grumpy. I'll see you on the road.